Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah. Amma ba'd. We start today, inshallah, with Surat Al Anaam. Surat Al Anaam, one of the long surahs of the Quran Al-Kareem, 165 ayah, and it's a surah Makkiyah, and it has this very special characteristic that it was all sent down to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in one shot. You know that the Quran would be at times delivered in small portions or bigger portions at a time, not necessarily a whole surah at a time, but this is one of those occasions wherein one single surah, long surah, Al-An'am, came onto Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam all in one night, to the extent that one of the Sahabiyat, her name is Asma bint Yazid, she said it came onto Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam when he was on his camel, ala naqatih, riding on the camel.
For this surah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And she's saying that from the weight of it, the camel's bones were almost crushed. The heavy weight of the surah. You know that when the Quran came onto Rasulullah, it was a physically demanding feat. It was not an easy ride. Yani he used to get sweaty, and he used to shiver, and it's a heavy, the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala coming from heavens onto him. And Sahaba, Ridwanullahi alayhim, they have witnessed that, and they have said that when al-wahy came upon him, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, they would hear a buzzing sound around his head, a buzzing sound around the head of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So this is a big feat. It's not an easy thing.
Also, isn't it that one of the Sahabi, that the Prophet's leg was resting and it felt so heavy?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now. So again, Ibn Abbas also says that Surat Al Anaam nazalat with 70,000 angels around it, making tasbih, yaj'aruna bil tasbih, meaning even loud and strong tasbih. 70,000 malaika, along with the surah coming down. Today we're going to choose a couple of the verses, and we all know that we don't cover the entire interpretation of the whole surah. We just go through selected few verses that we present to you, inshallah. And we start today with verse number 33. Verse number 33. قد نعلم إنه لا يحزنك الذي يقولون فإنهم لا يكذبونك ولكن الظالمين بآيات الله يجحدون. There is Ali and Abdul Rahman. Wa alaikum assalam. And Mr. Abdul Rahman also forgot his glasses again. طيب. We are starting Surah Al Anaam tonight, inshallah. قد نعلم أنه لا يحزنك الذي يقولون فإنهم لا يكذبونك ولكن الظالمين بآيات الله يجحدون. Allah is telling the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, addressing Muhammad alayhi salatu wasallam, saying, we know that you are bothered, لا يحزنك, it saddens you, ya Muhammad, what they say. And then Allah says, فإنهم لا يكذبونك, but notice, they are not really saying that you are lying. إنهم لا يكذبونك ولكن الظالمين بآيات الله يجحدون. It's the message that you're bringing to them that they refute, that they don't want to accept. Subhanallah. So essentially it's saying that those disbelievers are really knowledgeable that the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is an honest man. He's not said a lie in his life for the 40 years that he lived in Mecca around Quraysh. And they know that. It is them themselves who dubbed him as-Sadiq al-Amin, the honest, the trustworthy. they gave him that title. Huh? It was the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam who was the holder of al-amanat of Quraysh. Even on his day of hijrah, he had possessions of al-mushrikeen akhi in his hold. And that's why he left Sayyidina Ali behind. You remember? When he slept in his bed and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam escaped with Abu Bakr to Medina. And he gave Ali the directive, you return these things to its rightful owners. They know that this guy is not a liar, but they don't like the message. They just are not willing to accept the message. And here is a story that tells you exactly what this is about. On one night, the three of the mushrikeen of Mecca, of Quraysh, Abu Jahl, Abu Sufyan, and a guy named Al-Akhnas ibn Shuraiq, three of them, but all independently, not knowing that the others are doing what they're doing. What they did was, they went to where the house of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is, and they wanted to listen to what he's saying. He's reciting. They want to listen to what he's saying in the night. And then, as the morning starts to come in, they sleep by one after the other. They didn't know that they were there until they went onto the general road that collected them together. Allah, what are you doing here? What are you doing here, right? And of course, they confided in one another. And they said, you know what? We shouldn't do that again. Because listening to Muhammad might give us fitna. We might get affected by what he is saying. And if the youth of Quraysh know that we as the Sadat of Quraysh, the higher-ups of Quraysh are doing this, they will maybe want to go and see what Muhammad has to offer. So let's make an oath that we don't do that again. The second night comes, and each one of them again individually trickles down to and listens to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam as he reads Al-Quran. And same thing before the daylight, they're walking back and they meet and they say, there we go again. We did it again. We shouldn't do that. And then the third night, same thing. 3 nights in a row. Wow. 3 nights in a row. And on that third night, what happened was that Al-Akhnas, he went to the house of Abu Sufyan and he spoke to him after they listened and everything.
This is one of the 3.
Yeah, there's Abu Jahl, Abu Sufyan, or Al-Akhnas. He asked him, أخبرني يا أبا حنظلة. Abu Hanzala is the kunya of Abu Sufyan. عن رأيك فيما سمعت من محمد. What do you think of what you've heard from Muhammad? Ya Abu Sufyan. So Abu Sufyan responds in calling Al-Akhnas with his kunya, يا أبا ثعلبة والله لقد سمعت أشياء أعرفها وأعرف ما يراد بها وسمعت أشياء ما عرفت معناها ولا ما يراد بها. By Allah, Ya Aba Tha'laba, Ya Akhnas, I have heard from Muhammad some things that I know what they are and know what they mean, and then there are other things that I don't know what is intended from those things. And the Akhnas concurred and said, وَأَنَا وَالَّذِي حَلَفْتَ بِهِ, meaning, and by the same Allah that you made an oath, it's the same thing with me. I also experienced the same thing. And he left and he went to the house of Abu Jahl. And he said, Ya Aba Jahl, Ya Aba al-Hakam. Aba al-Hakam is the kunya, right? Abu al-Hakam ibn Hisham. That's the name of Abu Jahl. Abu al-Hakam ibn Hisham. And the kunya is Abu al-Hakam, but his own name is what? Amr ibn Hisham.
So Abu means what, father of?
Yes, yes. So for example, my eldest son, well here, let's give a live example. This eldest son of this guy is this guy with the beanie right there.
Right.
So when you call this guy, you can call him Ya Aba Ali. Aba Ali, father of Ali. Usually with the firstborn. Huh? Okay. It's a tradition in the Arab society.
But only for the male child.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And still, by the way, it's preserved to this day. In some areas they use the kunya that way. But Abu Jahl is a kunya, and what a bad kunya it is, huh? Abu Jahl, father of ignorance. Jahl.
Which wasn't referring to his son, it was just referring to him that he's the father of ignorance.
Yes.
Okay.
And he is Abu al-Hakam, his son, and his own name is, the original name is Amr ibn Hisham. Early on, the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam made the dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the early times of the da'wah, still Islam very fragile. He said, Allahumma a'izz al-Islam bi-ahad al-umarayn. Oh Allah, give power and pride to Islam by having one of these two Umars come to it. Who are these two Umars? Umar ibn Khattab and Amr ibn Hisham. And subhanallah, this is a lesson. This is a lesson. One of them, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts the dua of Nabi and brings him to Islam, Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab. And we all know the rest is history. Is that what they say, right? It's true. The rest is really history. What he did and what he became. And then Abu Jahl dies in a as a kafir.
In Badr.
So this is just a side footnote. Al-Hidayah is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Al-Hidayah, leading one to the righteous path, is only from Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not in the power of any other being. Even the Prophet himself. He has, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him, إِنَّكَ لَا تَهْدِي مَنْ أَحْبَبْتَ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ يَهْدِي مَنْ يَشَاءُ. O Muhammad, you are not going to lead to the righteous path those whom you love. It's only Allah who leads to the path those whom He مَنْ يَشَاءُ. إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَهْدِي مَنْ يَشَاءُ. Whom He chooses.
Which means applies to us also. We can preach to our family members and loved ones. But there's no guarantee.
That's right. Now, يا أبا الحكم ما رأيك فيما سمعت من محمد؟ يا أبا جهل يا أبا الحكم يا عمرو بن هشام. What do you think of what you heard from Muhammad? And what he says? He says what? What did I hear? What did I hear? We had always had this claim for authority in Quraysh. We, our family, and Bani Abd Manaf. Bani Abd Manaf is the family of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So he says, أطعموا فأطعمنا. They gave food to the people, we gave food to the people. حملوا فحملنا. They carried people and we carried people in response. وأعطوا فأعطينا. They gave, so we also gave. And now they're coming to say one of us is being sent from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the message as a Rasul, as a Nabi, minna Nabi. How are you going to match that? Right? You see, this is the rationale. It's all a matter of pride. It's all a matter of who comes up on top. Right? If it's a matter of something within the dunya, spending money, feeding the needy, giving the we can do that. We are raising them for that. But all of a sudden they come and say, when we and he gave the example, حتى كنا كفرسي رهان. فرسي رهان يعني إيه؟ يعني it's like we are two horses in a race. You know, neck to neck like that. Now when we are that even, they come and say, Minna Nabi. Now we have a Nabi. How are you going to match that? So he says, والله لا نؤمن به أبدا ولا نصدق. We will never believe in him. We will never take his word. Just like that. So that tells you what is happening here. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, قَدْ نَعْلَمُ إِنَّهُ لَا يَحْزُنْكَ الَّذِي يَقُولُونَ. We know you're saddened by what they say. فَإِنَّهُمْ لَا يُكَذِّبُونَكَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam the bushra that he is not being dubbed as a liar. No, لا يكذبونك ولكن الظالمين بآيات الله يجحدون. But those الظالمين are the ones who defy the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. لكن الظالمين بآيات الله يجحدون. And by the way, you will find this is just a footnote in the Arabic language. I don't know if the non-Arabic speaking are going to appreciate it or not, but ولكن الظالمين, but the unjust, the transgressors, بآيات الله, by the verses or the signs of Allah, are defiant or are rejecting. يجحدون من جحد يجحد فهو جاحد. In that expression, what they say, a جملة خبرية, the standard form of the statement should be ولكن الظالمين يجحدون بآيات الله. مش كده؟ ولكن الظالمين الفاعل يجحدون الفعل بآيات الله المفعول به. Right? That's the normal arrangement of the verse. But in the Quran Al-Karim there is a lot of that. What's happening here? What is happening here? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not say ولكن الظالمين يجحدون بآيات الله. He said ولكن الظالمين بآيات الله يجحدون, which is called تقديم وتأخير. تقديم وتأخير, meaning he brought forward something and put back something else instead of the normal occurrence of the جملة إنشائية. And the reason for that is that this is giving a much more impact and grabs your attention even more. When you see that تقديم وتأخير, you will find yourself alert to what is being said.
So how would you say that in English? So
in English, ولكن الظالمين, but the transgressors defy the signs of Allah. But the Quran is saying, but the transgressors by the signs of Allah are defiant.
Okay.
A different structure completely is known as taqdeem wa ta'khir. Taqdeem meaning to bring forward, and ta'khir meaning to delay.
So the second way you said it, the signs of Allah takes more prominence.
نعم. ولكن الظالمين بآيات الله يجحدون. نعم. تقديم والتأخير هنا is happening in the Quran in many places. وما كان الله ليظلمهم ولكنهم كانوا أنفسهم يظلمون. Allah is not going to do injustice to them, but instead of saying ولكنهم يظلمون أنفسهم, Allah will always say ولكنهم أنفسهم يظلمون. Themselves they do injustice, not they do injustice to themselves. تقديم وتأخير. It's one of the balagha. It's one of the power of the language, of the Arabic language, when it happens, to give the extra effect.
Tamam? Okay.
Again, this is just an Arabic thing, so for what it's worth. So this is it. This is how the disbelievers take a stand against the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam out of pride, just like that. right? In the same token, we know that remember in the story of Salman al-Farsi in al-Madinah later on after al-Hijrah, and Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam in al-Madinah, and Akhtab ibn Huyay, مش كده؟ أبو ستنا صفية, the father of صفية بنت حيي, أم المؤمنين. Akhtab ibn Huyay, her father was one of the leaders of one of the tribes of the Jews in Medina. Salman al-Farisi worked for his brother, for Ibn Huyay's brother, to collect dates and stuff like that and take care of the palms. And on that day, he was up there collecting the dates, and down there, the two brothers were talking. And they're telling one another, is he the real prophet? Notice, these are not like the mushrikeen, these have the books. They have the Torah, they have the message from before, which tells them. So, he's asking his brother, is he the real prophet? He said, yes, he is. He is. So what are you going to do about it? I'm going to stand against him to the last day in my life. Yani you're acknowledging the nubuwwah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then you deciding to go against him until the last day of your life. Salman ibn al-Farisi was up there, he heard that dialogue, right? He heard that dialogue. And that's how we know that this is the position of these disbelievers. Yani, there is no logic. It's just a matter of Subhanallah, لكن الله يهدي من يشاء. ولكن الله يهدي من يشاء. It's only in the hands of Allah.
It's the same thing again, because he's not one of them.
Nah.
It's just same as the first stand when Abu Jahl couldn't believe him because he wasn't one of them.
You see?
The same thing.
Yeah.
You know,
and in this case,
he was not one of the Jews.
He's not one of the Jews. But they knew in their book, in the scripture, that there is going to come a prophet. They didn't dispute that. It's in their book.
So
it's also in the Christians' belief.
They had the sign.
برسول يأتي من بعد اسمه إيه؟ أحمد. ده المسيح. Right? Predicted, he's saying there's going to be a prophet coming. And the Jews also, they know the signs. And it was a trip that the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam had made with his uncle Abu Talib. You know, he was in his household from the early ages until he got married. So at the age of 12 or so, when Muhammad was a 12-year-old boy, Abu Talib decided to take a trip to Sham. A standard trip, one that all Qurayshans are doing left and right. لإلاف قريش إلافهم رحلة الشتاء والصيف. رحلة الشتاء والصيف. الشتاء تحت في اليمن والصيف فوق في الشام. And when he went there, close to Sham, one of the Jewish religious people, أحد أحبار اليهود, saw Muhammad and saw signs, physical signs on him. There's a mark on the shoulder, or that they know about. And he told him, be careful, take care of this boy, because the Jews might want to kill him.
So this was the Christian monk?
No. حبر يهودي.
Yehudi?
No. But this was a 12-year-old boy. He's not even a man or a حاجة yet. And that incident happened, and Abu Talib never went to Sham except this one time. He didn't do it again because it didn't end up being a profitable trip for him. Yani, you know, again, that's another story that we can talk about, which is a risk. You and I can do the same thing. One of us may succeed, the other one may. Subhanakallah. Subhanakallah. This is his will, his will. So Abu Talib, by the way, was not the richest of his siblings. So when Abdul Muttalib, their father, the grandfather of the Nabi, who took care of him between the ages of 6 and 8, after his mother died, they said, okay, who now is going to take care of him? And the wealthiest of them was Al-Abbas ibn Abdul Muttalib. طيب, for they expected that Al-Abbas would, hi Abbas, are you going to be able to carry this young orphan now? And Al-Abbas, although the richest of the brothers, he found excuses. I said, I have a lot on my plate and I have a lot of things to pay and da 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 da. He didn't want to. He didn't want to. And Abu Talib ended up taking him, although he was not that affluent. That's why Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had a very special place in his heart for his uncle. Even though, again, yet another example, he supported Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam till the day he died, and when he died, he still died as a kafir. These are lessons for us. These are lessons for us. Subhanallah, Sayyidina Nuh, Nabi, and the boat is filled and the tufan is starting, and he's calling upon his son. تعال معنا, come. He said, no. سآوي إلى جبل يعصمني من الماء. مش كده? I'm going to go up to a high mountain that will protect me from the. لا عاصم اليوم من أمر الله إلا من رحم. There is no protection today. Don't come. And the dialogue ended by Quran dramatically expresses this picture, this scene. وحال بينهم الموج. As they are speaking, the father is pleading for the son to save him from drowning, and the son is saying, no, I'm not coming. وحال بينهم الموج. And then the waves came in between. كان من المغرقين. خلاص. He drowned. He's the son of the prophet Noah. He couldn't save him. Not even that. When he tried to plead to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Rabbi na'udni, this is my son. Have mercy on him now that he has drowned. What did Allah tell him?
It's not your family.
إنه ليس ابنه. إنه عمل غير صالح. He's a bad deed.
He's a what?
He's a bad deed. عمل غير صالح. It's a bad act. He's not your son.
Right. That's what I was thinking
إنه
about.
ليس ابنه. He's not your son. إنه عمل غير صالح. He is a bad seed. He's a bad seed.
في قراءة أخرى إنه عامل غير صالح.
تمام.
So
what I'm saying is, Sayyidina Ibrahim pleading for his father, and his father Azar is saying no, right? All the time. Sayyidina Lut, she's seeking his wife. كانت من الغابرين. You will find that all the way. And in our lives, the same thing. The same thing.
Yes.
So the main issue is that those who get the advice, who get the opportunity to take care of themselves, should seize it. You don't know.
But also from what you've explained, it's almost as if Iman is a gift that Allah bestows upon those that He chooses to. Because even the prophets are not guaranteed that they can pass on the same to their children or their spouse.
There is no guarantee. There is no guarantee whatsoever. And we've seen that. We've seen ulama
Yes.
whose kids are fasiqeen, and vice versa. Vice versa. You see a father and a mother who don't think too much about these things, and the kids are coming out on the righteous path. I can never stop being amazed at the story that I actually was asked about on one occasion, and this was an affluent lady. We were having dinner, and she and her husband, and they have one kid, same age as maybe Ali or Abdurrahman, early 20s, 22, something like that. How old are you, ya Ali?
18.
18? No, but he's older than you. And the mother is telling me, I want you to talk to my son a little and put some sense in his head. And I said, okay, I'd be happy to. What did the son do? She said, he is so rigid and so narrow-minded and this and that. I said, why? She said, his father and I, after the dinner, we like to have a little wine. Wallahi al-Azim, this happened to me. I was witnessing that, a lady telling me that. And he just, makes a big fuss over it and gives us a hard time. Just make him take it easy a little bit. And I just looked there, dumbfounded at her, and I said, you are displeased that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given you a son that knows the right from wrong and that cares for his parents enough to tell them, you should not be doing that? And you want me to talk to him? Subhanallah. Subhanallah. A father, a good father, a Nabi and a bad son, and vice versa, a Nabi and a father who's not a believer, and so forth. Abu Talib, Amm al-Nabi, he loved him, but he didn't buy his message. Subhanallah. So, you wanted to comment or something here, Ya Shahid?
When you finish, because it's a very interesting subject. A little dialogue you need to have.
No. Okay. Now, I would like to quickly, because now we're getting the time close, to verse number 38. It's a very interesting verse here. It says the following: وَمَا مِن دَابَّةٍ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَلَا طَائِرٍ يَطِيرُ بِجَنَاحَيْهِ إِلَّا أُمَمٌ أَمْثَالُكُمْ مَا فَرَّطْنَا فِي الْكِتَابِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ ثُمَّ إِلَى رَبِّهِمْ يُحْشَرُونَ. Verse 38, Al Anaam. وَمَا مِن دَابَّةٍ فِي الْأَرْضِ. Dabba is the generic name for any live creature that walks the face of the earth. The name Dabba from Dabba. Dabba meaning has the footsteps. Dabba is the creature that has those footsteps. There is none of any of those creatures fil ard, on earth, وَلَا طَائِرٍ يَطِيرُ بِجَنَاحَيْهِ, or a bird that flies with its wings. إِلَّا أُمَمٌ أَمْثَالُكُمْ. They are nothing but just like you. Any creature that Allah had created is an just like our ins and the jinn and all of these other creatures are just like us.
Communities.
Yes, just the same way. We know from the Quran al-Kareem that Sulaiman was given the gift of knowing the language of these, right? When he's passing by, and the dialogue about the Namla. ادخلوا مساكنكم لا يحطمنكم سليمان وجنوده. مش كده? When Sulaiman and his army is coming, the ant said to the rest of them, get into your houses, lest Sulaiman would step on you and kill you. These are Every creature is in this universe is an just like we are. And they have their communication, they have their rapport among them, and they have all of that. Subhanallah. إِلَّا أُمَمٌ أَمْثَالُكُمْ مَا فَرَّطْنَا فِي كِتَابٍ مِّن شَيْءٍ. We have not given up anything in this book. ثُمَّ إِلَى رَبِّهِمْ يُحْشَرُونَ. Then they're all going to be resurrected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah. That's a weird thing. You think that it's just us, right, who are going to be resurrected, right? How about those animals and insects, and it should not be, right? But the ayah is saying, ثُمَّ إِلَى رَبِّهِمْ يُحْشَرُونَ. They are going to be resurrected.
Because they have a soul also.
Well, a different story here.
Oh.
That's the idea about this verse actually, Shahid.
Oh.
Yeah. In one year, there was a scarcity of locusts, jarad. You know locusts?
Mm-hmm.
And Sayyidina Umar, he was the Khalifa at the time, and he was concerned. He was concerned to the extent that he sent messengers. He sent messengers to Sham, to Iraq, to Yemen, to all places, telling them, look for the jarad, look for the jarad. See if you find it, because he couldn't find it around him. What's the big deal? What's the big deal? Well, you will find out. When those people came back, the man coming from Yemen came back to Umar, and he had in his possession a bunch of the jarad. He put it in front of Sayyidina Umar and said, there you go. I found it for you there. As soon as Umar saw the jarad, he said what? He said Allahu Akbar 3 times. Made takbirat 3 times. What's going on? Then he explains. He says, I heard Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had created 1,000 ummah, 1,000 nations, 1,000 creations, 600 in the sea and 400 on earth. Tamam? The first that would be eradicated of these ummah is the jarad. The first to become extinct is going to be the locust. Not only that, when it expires, the rest will follow in a domino effect. The rest of the creations. SubhanAllah. And the hadith says, تتبعت فإذا هلكت تتبعت مثل النظام إذا قطع سلكه. Meaning, if you have like a beat, like a misbah, for example, like the Rohan uses for his tasbih, right? What happens when you break the little fine string that holds these together? All of those fall apart. فإذا مثل النظام إذا قطع سلكه. Just like that, the rest of the creatures are going to go. So these creatures, they are there for some reason for us. On one occasion, in Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Abu Dhar was with him, and he saw two sheep butting heads against one another. Tamam? And he looked at Abu Dhar and he said, Ya Abu Dhar, do you know why they are butting heads? Abu Dhar, he said, no, I don't. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam responded by saying, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows, and Allah will judge between them on the day of judgment. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. There are two sheep and they're butting head. And there is a reason for that. But then there's going to be hisab. There's going to be hisab. Subhanallah. There's going to be qisas among the animals. فما بالك among us, humans. What about us? Because the verse concludes with ثُمَّ إِلَى رَبِّهِمْ يُحْشَرُونَ, which means that they are going to be resurrected. Abu Huraira comments by saying, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala resurrects all creations on the day of judgment. Animals, birds and human and all. And He would take qisas for every creature from the other. Yani those two shats, two sheep, one that has horns and one that doesn't, and they butt one another. Of course, the one that with the horns will cause damage. He will take qisas لِلْجَمَّاءِ مِنَ الْقَرْنَاءِ, to the one that doesn't have the horns from the one that had the horns. And then what happens? And then He says, كُونِي تُرَابًا, be dust. Because although they have a hash, they don't have a hisab. That's the distinction.
What is hash?
Hash is resurrection. Hisab is accountability. We get hash and then we get hisab. But these animals and the rest, they only get resurrected for making the balances just and fair, making things fair. And then when it is fair, when a qisas takes place, Allah tells them, Kuni be dust, Kuni turaban, Kuni turaban. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran al-Kareem tells us, and the kafir says what? The kafir, when he sees that, he would wish he would be turned to dust at that occasion. Because then there is hisab, and then there is Jannah or Nar, and then there is accountability. And I think I would like to leave it that way because we are having 5 minutes only to Al-Isha, inshallah. Maybe we can open that for your commentary, inshallah.
I just wanted confirmation because I had heard, but you have mentioned otherwise, that on this trip with Abu Talib, it was a Christian monk who saw the